All right, so we've got, Tamara's sending out links. Tamara is coming on in a half hour. We got more comedians coming up, and I'm just going to take another moment before we bring one of them up here. Okay, yeah. Anybody here notice that your avatars are being used when you're not logged on? Yeah.
Oh,
I've noticed that from time to time. Yeah. Because what you do is you log on with a different computer, and you see your avatar is out having fun. Yeah, go check it out next time. Yeah, I think they. I mean, I wonder if all this exists. This all the sex that happened in Second Life, is that still somewhere out on the net, easily pulled back and viewed again? Anyway,
the Lindens have it all on their files. Yes.
Yeah. I can't wait for the porno flicks to come out from Second Life, right?
Well, and you should see what happened when the NSA broke into those Linden files.
Oh, yes.
Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, let's bring up, without any further ado, our one and only Why Not.
Yes.
Why not?
Yay.
Come on up here. Why not doing the big relay? Why not? Are you there? You ready to go?
She ready to go? Why not?
She is.
Oh, bro.
Yes.
Why not?
She
Yay,
should
why
be.
not?
Yay, there she
Not
is.
sure you have
But-
sound. Oh,
Come on, why not?
but you could go.
We'll talk-
why don't
we'll
you do
talk.
them in, yeah, do them in mine. Do a whole.
No,
comedy.
go ahead. I just talked to Why Not. She probably has sound, but she's
Okay.
going to have to do some talking. We can't hear
Turn it on.
talk.
There
Yes,
we
we
go.
hear
You got
Talking.
sound. Come on,
There
why
you
not?
go.
We hear
Yeah, all right, yay!
She's
All
Oh
right.
my word.
Always think positively, please.
I did. I thought I absolutely didn't have any freaking sound. I was positive. I was
I
sure.
think positively.
That was your
yes.
husband turning you off.
You don't know how true that could be.
He's the one driving home that night.
I heard it.
I heard it.
Yeah, he's the
Panda walks
designated.
in an old Western saloon, and the bartender's really shocked when Panda throws down a sack of gold, ordering a sandwich and a root beer. Well, money's money, the bartender thinks, so he serves the panda, and the panda eats the sandwich, chugs the root beer, draws a pistol, shoots the piano player dead, and starts toward the door. Hey, hold on, Panda, the bartender said, pulling a shotgun from under the bar. Nobody shoots my piano player, and just walks away. The panda turns around. You got a dictionary? He says. Well, yeah, the bartender says. Well, you better know better than to serve a panda. It's your own fault. And he slams out the door. Well, the bartender opens his copy of Webster's and flips to the P section. He goes, God damn, I should have known better. This entry says panda, a giant mammal native to China and Central Asia, eats, shoots, and leaves. My brother used to date this dyslexic woman. He took her home, and she ended up cooking his sock. He didn't see her anymore.
Oh.
Oh.
Two cows are sitting in a field, and one says to the other, so how about that mad cow disease? Scary stuff, isn't it? And the other says, terrifying, but what do I care? I'm a helicopter. Two Irish guys are fishing, and the first guy reels in his line, and he sees he's snagged an old bottle. And while he's taking it off the hook, the genie pops out, promises to give him one wish. Turn the lake into beer, he says. And the genie goes, poof! The lake turns to beer. He says to the other guy, so what do you think? And the other guy goes, you frickin' jerk. Well, now we gotta piss in the boat. This Jewish man's walking on the beach when he sees this bottle with a genie in it. God, there's a lot of freaking genies. He rubs it, and a genie comes out. Promises to give him a wish. And he says, I want peace in the Middle East. That is my wish. And the genie looks really concerned and goes, I'm sorry, it's just not possible. Some things just cannot be changed. Do you have another wish? And the guy goes, well, for my whole life, I've never received oral sex from my wife. That would be my wish. And the genie pauses a minute and goes, how would you define peace? A Jewish guy goes in a confessional box and he says, Father O'Malley, my name's Emil. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing the Irish people. Father O'Malley is the Irish guy. My name is Emil Cohn, and I am 78 years old. Believe it or not, I am currently involved with a 28-year-old girl. And on the side, her 19-year-old sister. We engage in all manner of pleasure, and in my entire life, I've never felt better. My good man, the priest says, I think you've come to the wrong place. Why are you even telling me? And the guy goes, I'm telling everybody.
Not confessing, he's bragging.
A blonde and a redhead go in a bar after dinner for a drink and sit on stools watching the 6 o'clock news, and this man was threatening to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, so the blonde bet the redhead $50 he wouldn't jump. Well, sure enough, he jumped, so the blonde gave the redhead $50, and the redhead said, I can't even take this from you. You're my friend. But the blonde goes, now, a bet's a bet's a bet. And then the redhead says, look, I saw this on the 5 o'clock news, so I can't take your money. And the blonde says, well, so did I, but I didn't think he would jump again. An atheist walking through the trees in the woods, you know. He goes, oh, what majestic trees, what powerful rivers, what beautiful animals. He says all this to himself. And as he's walking along the river, he hears rustling in the bushes behind him, and he turns to look and sees a 7-foot grizzly bear charging him. He ran as fast as he could up the path. He looked over his shoulder. He saw the bear closing in. He looked over, and the bear was even closer. He tripped, and he fell, and he rolled over to pick himself up, but the bear was right on top of him, reaching for him with his left paw, raising the paw to strike him. And at that instant, the atheist cried out, oh, my God! And time stopped. The bear froze. The forest was silent. As a bright light shone on the man, a voice came out of the sky. You deny my existence for all these years, teach others I don't exist, and even credit creation to cosmic accident. Do you really expect me to help you out of this predicament? The atheist looked directly into that light, and he says, it'd be hypocritical of me to suddenly ask you to treat me as a Christian now, but maybe you could make the bear a Christian. Oh, very well, the voice said. So the light went out, the sounds of the forest came back, the bear dropped his right paw. He brought both his paws together, bowed his head, and said, Lord, bless this food for which I am about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. This guy goes in a tattoo shop and asks to have a $100 bill put on his dick. Why do you want that permanently on your penis? The tattoo artist asked. Well, 3 reasons. I like to play with my money. I like to watch my money grow. And this way my wife can blow $100 without leaving the house. Rufus calls his buddy Teefus. What up, Teefus? Why don't you come over here and watch the football game? Teefus. As I can't, Rufus. I was laying linoleum. Rufus. She got a sister? The grasshopper walks in a bar and sits down, and the bartender says, hey, we got a drink named after you. And the grasshopper goes, oh, you really? You have a drink named Steve? 3 Labrador retrievers, brown, yellow, and black, are sitting in the waiting room at the vet's office, and they strike up a conversation. And the black lab turns to the brown, and he goes, so why are you here? And the brown lab says, I'm a pisser. I piss on everything. The sofa, drapes, cat, kids. But the final straw was last night when I pissed in the middle of my owner's bed. And the black lab says, well, what's the vet going to do? He's going to give me Prozac, came the reply from the brown lab. All the vets are prescribing it. It works for everything. And then he turns to the yellow lab. And he goes, well, why are you here? And the yellow lab says, I'm a digger. I dig under fences, dig up flowers, trees. I dig for the hell of it. And, hey, when I'm inside, I dig up the carpets. But I went over to the line last night when I dug a big hole on my owner's couch. So, well, what are they going to do to you, the black lab said. Well, looks like Prozac for me, too, the dejected yellow lab says. So then the yellow lab turns to the black lab, and he goes, well, what are you at the office for? I'm a humper, said the black lab. A hump anything. I'll hump the cat, I'll hump the pillow, hump the table, hump the fire hydrants, whatever. I want to hump everything I see. Yesterday, my owner had just gotten out of the shower and was bending down to dry her toes. I just couldn't help myself. I hopped on her back and started humping away. And the yellow and brown labs exchange a really sad glance, and they go, Prozac for you too, huh? And the black lab says, nope, I'm here to get my nails clipped. Did you hear the one about the deaf guy? Neither did he. So a polar bear. So a polar bear walks in a bar and he goes up to the bartender and he goes, bartender, give me a beer. The bartender goes, okay, but why the long pause? The polar bear waves and goes, oh, I was just born that way. In this little town, a bell ringer for the church decides he's had his spell and he wants to retire, so he puts an ad in the paper for applicants. The next day, a man without arms comes, and the bell ringer's really skeptical because this man's ability, but the guy says, I'll offer a demonstration. So at the top of the tower, this man charges at the bell, leaps at the last second, and hits it with his face, and the bell peals. So he got the job. Well, a week later, the new ringer misses the bell and falls off the side to his death. So everyone in the church is crowding around the body, and the former bell ringer is called to identify it. And when he sees it, he goes, I don't know his name, but the face sure does ring a bell. Am I going too long? Does somebody else
go
have
ahead. Enjoy yourself.
No.
Enjoy yourself. Have fun.
Okay. All right, well, what's the difference between an epileptic oyster farmer and a whore with diarrhea?
God knows.
The epileptic oyster farmer shucks in between fits. Strip down, facing me, the woman said. And the man followed the instructions, but he soon realized they were directions for swiping the credit card, and he can't go to the grocery store anymore. A man in his 20s and a few of his friends were at a bar, and this pretty woman in her mid-50s sent over a drink and introduced herself. And having never been hit on by a cougar before, this guy was really happy to let her buy him some drinks. Throughout the evening, this woman made it clear she wanted him to go home with her. Well, at first the man was reluctant, but his friends were encouraging him. And in a final attempt, the woman offered him some mother-daughter action if he'd come. He was really excited and went home with her, and they soon started kissing on the couch passionately. And he started looking around for the daughter, but he didn't see anyone. He goes, hey, aren't you forgetting someone? And the woman apologized and went to the bottom of the stairs and said, hey, Mom, I got one. This Valentine's, and this wife says, honey, go out and get me something that makes me look really sexy. And he went out and he came back drunk. What happened when the blonde saw NC-17, under 17 not admitted sign at the movie theater? She called 16 friends to come and meet her. After an operation, this man came out of anesthesia and he found his wife sitting at the bedside. You're beautiful, he murmured. She was real flattered, and she continued her vigil all night while I drifted back to sleep. And he woke up again hours later, and he goes, oh, you're cute. And she goes, what happened to beautiful? He said, these drugs are wearing off. A young man and his date were parked on a back road some distance from town, and after sex, the girl said, I really should have mentioned this earlier, but I'm actually a hooker, and I charge $250 for what I just did. The man says, oh, my God, I should have mentioned I'm a taxi driver, and the fare back is $500. This husband goes into the bedroom, and he finds his wife having sex with another man. What the hell's going on here, he asked. Who is this man? That's a fair question, the wife responded, and she turned to the naked man beside her and said, what is your name? This priest is walking down a side street in his little town, and he comes across this woman of ill repute. He stops and he tells her in no uncertain terms she picked the wrong path. "Huh, you're telling me, Father," she said. "I've been on the street for more than an hour and you're the first man I've even seen." There's a bunch of really bad computer viruses out lately, and a lot of them have to do with famous people. The Monica Lewinsky virus, it sucks all the memory from your computer. The Ronald Reagan virus saves your data but forgets where it's stored. The Mike Tyson virus quits after one bite. The Oprah Winfrey, your 200 megabyte hard drive suddenly shrinks to 80 megabytes, then it expands to 300 megabytes. The Lorena Bobbitt virus turns your hard disk into a 3.5-inch floppy. The Ellen DeGeneres virus says your IBM suddenly claims it's a Mac.
Okay.
And I think it's time for somebody else here. Lauren's
Yeah, the Hillary
Thank you
Clinton.
so very much.